بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب زدني علما.
So let's go ahead with the stub configuration. Now here we'll try to implement one simple lab with a stub. So the prerequisite, again, I do have already the basic IP configurations. And what I'll do is I'll quickly configure the OSPF as per my topology here. If you see on the router 1, we do have some 11.loopbacks I'm using on the router 1, area 10. So I'm just using only 2 areas. That will be sufficient for verification here. If you want, you can just add more areas as well. So 2 areas will be sufficient. And then 10.subnet in area 10. And let's go to router 2. On the router 2, everything is in area 10. So I'll say 20.subnet. So 20.subnet here in area 10. And as well as we have a 2.subnet in area 10, as well as 1.subnet in area 10. And also we got some loopback interfaces here in area 10. Okay. Now, likewise, we'll go to the router 3 and quickly configure the router 3 in area 10. So I'm going to say 2.subnet. So this 2.subnet in area 10. And then we got some 13.loopbacks. I'm going to routize them in area 0. So I need to use 2 areas. One is 0 and the other one is 10. And likewise, we need to also advertise the 3.subnet, the 3.subnet which connects here, and also the 30.subnet, the 30.subnet with the LAN. So likewise on the router 4 as well. Now on the router 4, we have some external routes, because if you want to verify the stub, you need to have some external routes. So I'm going to advertise them in RIP, or you can use EHRP, any protocol. Let's use EHRP. And then we'll advertise the 14.subnets. We'll just disable the auto summary as well. If you're using new IWS, then it will be disabled by default. And then we'll do redistribution of those routes into OSPF, because we need those routes, redistributed external routes, for verification. As you can see, these are the loopback interfaces, whatever I'm using here. So these loopbacks will be seen as external routes. So external routes are just 4, but anyway, good for testing. And likewise, we'll advertise the 3.subnet, the WAN interface. So the 3.subnet here, 0.255, 255, 255 in area 0. And as well as we have a 40.subnet here in area 0 here. Now the basic routing, we need to do the basic routing. Let's go and verify if I'm getting those routes. So the first thing, we'll verify the neighborship. We should see 2 neighbors, and then we should see all the routes. So the main verification part here will be these external routes, because we should see these external routes getting injected into the area 10. Likewise, we'll say show IP route OSPF. We should see those external routes by default. But once we configure the stubs, we should not see these external routes on the router 1 and router 2. So the verification point of view, router 1 and router 2 will be the better place. So we do have the neighborship, we do have the routes working fine. So let's go ahead with the stub configuration. Like I said, we decided to make this area 10 as a stub. Now make sure that this area 10 is not area 0. It's not area 0, right? So it should not be area 0. And there should not be any external routes, means there should not be any ASVR, and there should not be any virtual link from this. So in simple, that should not be the transit area. So in my example, area 10 can be configured as a stub here. So what will be the configuration command? The configuration command is simple on each and every router of the area 10, which means in my case, we got router 1, router 2, router 3. Again, in the production networks, you might have any number of routers, means 30, 40 routers. So on each and every router of that area 10, we have to give this command called area 10 stub. Means I'm saying that this area, the area 10, will be a stub area, and including the border router. Remember, you have to do it on the border router as well, because this is the border router and it is also a member of area 10. And this border router is the one who is receiving the external routes. and then it is going to stop those external routes here itself, and it will not inject those external routes into the area 10. So if the border router is unaware, then probably that's not going to work. So one thing we need to keep in mind, this command has to be given on each and every router, which means by mistake, if you miss any one of these routers, let's say I forgot to configure on this router, which means this router is a stub and this router is a stub, but you missed this router, the neighborship will go down. Because for OSPF neighborship to work, the stub flag has to match, which means basically either all the routers should not be configured as a stub, or if any one router is a stub, the next router, if it is also belonging to the same area, then that should be a stub, which means the stub command has to be given on each and every router. Now, this is one kind of troubleshooting we need to know, because sometimes where we end up missing one or two routers while doing the configuration, then that will impact the neighbor, that will actually impact the neighborship, also the route exchange. So on all the routers of area 10, just one single command, you can see in terms of configuration, it's not really lengthy or it's not really difficult. So we need to go to router 1. I'm going to say router OSPF 1. And then we say area 10 stub, simple. Now, once I do this area 10 stub, you can see immediately the neighborship between the router 1 and router 2 will go down, because as I already said that the stub flag mismatches. So in my case, the neighborship with router 2 goes down here. So we need to go to router 2 as well here. We say router OSPF 1, and then we say area 10 stub command. And now you can see the neighborship comes up with router 1, but again, it goes down for the router 3. So let's go to router 3 and area 10 stub. Now, once I do the configuration on the router 3, now I should see the neighborship between the router 3 and the router 2 has to come up, because we did the configuration. You can see the neighborship comes up. So at the end of the configuration, you always need to confirm and verify the neighborship, because if the neighborship is down and it has to get back to the previous state, we do have the neighborship with router 1 and the router 3. And now if you verify the routing table, if you say show IP route OSPF, what we discussed, your external routes will be coming till the border router. So in my case, the router 3 is the border router, and the router 3 is going to stop those external routes, which means the router 3 will still have those external routes in my case, because the border router will not stop the external route. Means border router will still have those external routes, but it will inject, it will not allow, or it will not advertise the external routes, but it will only advertise the default route, which means the internal routers. So in my case, the router 1 and router 2 must see the default route. So which means if I go and check on the router 2, if I say show IP route OSPF, I should see the default route. So that's what I'm expecting here when you say show IP route OSPF. So on the router 1. So you can see there is a default route here on the router 1. The same thing I should expect on the router 2 as well. So let me just quickly clear the process. Of course, this is not required. It was showing the default route earlier, but I'll quickly reset the OSPF. And I'm expecting the default route on the router 2 as well. Okay, so let's move on here. I just tried to restart the router, but again, the same result. As you can see, the router 1 injects the default route, but on the router 2, you don't see the default route, but it actually sets the default route here to 1.1.1. I think that should not be, that is actually added based on the static route, right? So that's not based on this. So as you can see, there is a kind of routing configuration issues, because as a part of my previous configurations, we already have the static route, which is configured based on the default route, based on the static. And also we have the default route, which is being learned through OSPF. So as per the administrator distance, it will always prefer to install the static route. That's what it is actually doing here. So again, if you remember, this is kind of a part of my previous config overlap. So what I'll do is I'll try to remove this static route and do this. Because always whenever you're doing the labs, make sure that whatever the configurations you do previously, that should not impact the things. So you will not get those results. That's the issue here. So as you can see, once you remove the static route, you'll see the OSPF routes will be installed here. So now you will see the default route automatically injected into the router 1 as well as on the router 2. And likewise, it also replaces the external routes. As you can see, there's no more external routes, but still you can reach these external routes. So if I try to ping from the router 1 or the router 2 to any of these external routes, I can still reach those external routes. 14.1.1, 2.1, 3.1. Of course, I cannot ping to 4.1. 4.1 is not present. But still, if you try to ping to any network which doesn't exist, it automatically reaches the router 3, right? Because we do have a default route which is pointing to router 3. So it will go to router 3 and the router 3 says, I don't know. But let's say if this router 3 is connecting to internet and then, you have a static default route here, then it may end up sending it to the here. So again, that is a kind of a mix lab where you can mix up the NAT and the default route and all those things. But here our focus is completely on the stub configurations. So as you can see, even any unknown subnet which will be sent, it will go till the border router. And if the border router knows, it will forward. If it doesn't know, it will drop. But the internal routers is not going to take the headache of maintaining each and every route. They say, I'm not going to maintain each and every route. So I'm simply going to install the default route. And this default route will be replaced instead of the external routes. So this is a kind of a simple stub configuration. We do have additional stub configurations we'll see, which will be again addition to these things. But this is a normal configuration command. We have to give area 10 stub, and it has to be configured on each and every router, including the border router as well as the internal routers.